From the Middle is a proud founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode 79 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America.
United States.
I'm going to try that again. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode 79 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle. And if you've never tuned in before, we are a comedy and culture podcast delving into all things geek, nerd, fatherhood, food, sports, really everything, with a real focus on how dumb we are and how we view the world. And I think that's the best way to tee up
Well said.
Our podcast. And we want to give a quick shout out to one of our good friends, Artius Man. If you've never checked them out before, head to artiusman.com, ARTIUSMAN.com. Head over there. Oh, Kendall's got the hat if you're watching YouTube. This is fantastic. Head over to Artius Man. They've got fantastic, all kinds of skincare products and great stuff for guys and girls, candles. Get 25% off your first order using promo code The Middle. We normally don't give them a good enough shout out, but we wanted to throw this right at the beginning of the episode because Christmas, gentlemen, is mere weeks away. People are going to need all kinds of good stuff. There you see, if you're on YouTube, if not, I'll illuminate you with what we're looking at. It's a beautifully designed website with products for face, hair, body, shaving, beard oils, candles, apparel. They even have some free beard oil samples right now. And Corey is holding up his barbershop candle from Artius Man. So get a crazy good deal by using promo code The Middle. Get 25% off your first order, and you're going to have some killer products. You guys have sampled some of the stuff as well, right?
I have made 2 purchases from there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As well. I as well has made.
Heading into the Christmas season where it's hard for anybody to buy for anybody. Can you shout out, other than Corey, your barbershop candle? Can you each just shout out like one thing people should go look at?
Well, beard oil is kind of what got them going, and their scents are handmade, and they use the good stuff. They're using the oils to make the scents. They're not using the cheap whatever fragrant and artificial junk. And so like their scents are legit. Like they smell good. They don't smell cheap, and that's it. Great stuff for body hair and body hair.
Yep.
Awesome.
I would recommend scent-wise, I would recommend either Humidor, which is a cherry vanilla tobacco scent, or Restoration, which is probably their most popular scent.
Restoration is what I have. Restoration in the beard balm.
Yeah.
And I've had it for a couple weeks. I've been wearing it, and my wife has told me that I smelled good, but she didn't know necessarily that I bought anything new. She opened it up because she saw it sitting next to my sink just like 2 days ago, and was like, "Oh, your Artius Man stuff. I smelled it. It smells really good." Like,
yeah.
It's all so friggin' good. So thanks, Artius. Everybody head over to Artius Man and place a couple $100 order. Get everyone in your life awesome gifts for Christmas. So welcome, guys. This is episode 79.
Here he is. Oh, nice. 79.
And I also want to say welcome to some of our newest listeners from a new country. If you don't know, we've talked about it before on the podcast. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to flags and geography and history. And when reviewing our podcast analytics, I love seeing these tiny little circle bubbles show up with new flags in them. And sometimes, like, obviously Northern Ireland falls under the UK, but then you've got this new little name in there, and it's so exciting. And we've got new friends in Northern Ireland. So welcome, new friends from the UK/Northern Ireland.
Nice.
We're absolutely thrilled to have you.
I'm learning things about the world right now. That's all.
Beautiful.
It's time to tee up my favorite segment. Dylan stereotypes people from the countries in which we have new listeners. So what do you have to say about Northern Ireland, Dylan?
Dylan hates everyone. That's not like him.
One fun fact about our friends from Northern Ireland, very, very similar to their Irish brethren in the Republic of Ireland, except they just like snow more.
Oh, okay.
Up there in the north. And so that's it. They just like the snow more. And we're glad to have them. So thanks for joining the podcast.
How do they keep their blood warm?
How?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought that was a joke that you knew.
Well, it was no. Sorry.
Northern Ireland is the setting of one of my favorite lesser known TV shows, Dairy Girls. Takes place in Northern Ireland in the 90s. And it's a hilarious show. I highly recommend it. I believe it was on Netflix.
Dairy Girls.
Not like Milkmaid, like Dairy, Dairy.
Yeah, Dairy is the town.
Dairy, Derry.
Derry. Dairy Girls on Netflix. It takes you a minute to get used to that thick accent, but once you do, it's just beautiful accent. It's a good time.
I even see a little Irish flag behind you. That's just
not of Northern Ireland.
I was gonna say
I do see a little Irish flag.
My ignorance runs strong in my geography.
Yeah.
So speaking of weird things that you've seen, Dairy Girls, food related television programming. I recently sent you guys a link. I didn't get any response back from it. I assume it's because you're in awe.
Yeah, I immediately shared that with Sherry. What in the world is going on?
A lifetime mini movie called A Recipe for Seduction. Here's a little brief tweet that I read about it. Mark your calendars because Lifetime and KFC have partnered for a Lifetime original mini movie you don't want to miss. So it is starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders, a young, buff Colonel Sanders.
Wait, stop. You must be joking, Kendall. This cannot be real.
Oh, it's not real. It's TV, but it is a real thing.
I mean, it makes total sense if you don't think about it. From my point of view.
Does it? Like if you don't think about it?
No, why not reboot Colonel Sanders prequel movie?
A glistening buff Colonel Sanders starring in a movie called A Recipe for Seduction, only on Lifetime.
Now, I didn't get a chance to read the article, so I can play the ignorant listener in this case. What does the article provide any explanation as to why this is happening?
So it's obviously like a paid situation for KFC. It's sort of like an expanded what do they call it? Social media when you rep a product or like a YouTube,
they had a term in the article.
It'd be like if we were to like have an entire episode on like Keurig coffee makers are awesome and this is what you can do with them, when the reality is we were paid by Keurig to make an entire episode about it. Trying to pull up the article now to SpawnCon.
Yes.
Sponsored content. And so it's that's what it is, but on steroids. So it's a mini movie. So it's not like this big 2-hour long thing, but it's a heavily produced 15 minutes. And they have, there's a trailer you can watch. You
We'll share it out from our social pages if it's that.
Look at December, let's see here.
Geese.
So we're gonna watch 15 minutes
Sunday.
of AC Slater being AC Slater
Yeah, there it is.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Is there
So-
a way that we can do a viewing party and live react to this?
Maybe.
This might be worth the
Where
effort.
there's a will, there's a way.
For
Does
some
anybody
side-
have access to Lifetime?
Of course.
I do not.
Oh,
I feel
man.
like if they're
We need
going
to
through all
figure
this
out-
effort, they've got to be sharing it on other things, right? Like, is it going to go on YouTube or something?
I don't know. It might. It might.
It can't just, if they're going through all this effort, it can't just be for the Lifetime viewers who already would watch it.
Well, it'd be a collaboration. So KFC, I'm sure, is fronting most of the cash for this, but they're along with Lifetime, right? So Lifetime is hoping that like this crazy scheme is going to get idiots like us to like watch Lifetime.
Yeah.
Which they're not wrong. And then obviously KFC is going to try to get, middle-aged house moms to buy KFC.
Can
By
I
the
read
family
the
dinners.
plot from EW.com?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
We can titillate 36-year-old Appalachian women. As the holidays draw near, a young heiress contends with the affections of a suitor handpicked by her mother. When the handsome chef, Harlan Sanders, arrives with his secret fried chicken recipe and a dream. he sets in motion he sets in motion a series of events that unravels the mother's devious plans. Will our plucky heiress escape to her wintry happily ever after with Harlan at her side? Or will she cave to the demands of family and duty?
I mean, is this considered like KFC like canon, or is this like fan fiction for KFC? I mean, is this Legends?
I hope it's canon. This is how I think it's a true story.
Is this expanded universe, or has Disney?
I want to walk into a KFC now and see like a bronze plate chiseled with like Mario Lopez with the little Colonel Sanders. Like, I want to see it like chiseled into part of the story of like the restaurants.
And in all the scenes with the heiress, he turns a chair around backwards and sits in it.
Plucky heiress, by the way, plucky.
No, if you got it, we're gonna share it, but you have to watch the trailer for this thing. I was rolling, laughing. The amount of times I heard like in a voice of either like excitement, I'm trying to convince you that my life is going somewhere, versus also like loud, you've got to be kidding me. This guy doesn't have what he thinks. And the words that they're putting in there is secret herb recipe, secret herbs and spices. So I've got secret herbs and spices. It's going to change the world. And then the boyfriend, he says he has a secret herb recipe.
Wow. I mean, I guess it's working because I'm getting hungry.
I'm getting hungry. And as Corey said, titillated, which I don't know what that means, but I need Band-Aids.
Well, speaking of being hungry, so in episode 69, we alluded to our exclusive pizza experience that we were gearing up for. And I'll give you the Spark Notes version for anyone who doesn't have time to go back. You should listen to it because we're hilarious, but go back and then come back here. Anyways, much like some kind of Hollywood club with a VIP wait list and then like an extra VIP wait list for the VIPs, our local Columbus metropolitan area has a sort of underground pizza shop that people are getting waitlisted for long periods of time. And we put our names on the list just like everybody else. I mean, the owner tried to just push us to the front of the list. We said, no, we're normal guys. We'll wait just like everybody else. And so we're still waiting. So I don't have an update in the sense that we've tried the pizza, but I have to say, there's been some discussion of it on social media channels around town, and I won't be any more specific than that, but it's really, really funny. And Kendall, I know you've seen some of this too. It's really funny, the discussions people are having about this pizza. And so I'll start just by just one quick one. Somebody basically complaining that this business model is working. Like, I'm not gonna wait 7 months for, just to try a pizza. Like, I'll wait until they actually open a restaurant. And then somebody's like, well, you realize then you're waiting either way, right? So like, it's not like you sit there, angry every day that they don't call you in anticipation. You can have other snacks along the way and eat.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
so,
I'm just like at home sitting on the couch, just like scratching my belly.
yeah.
And my wife walks in. What have you been doing all day? I'm waiting for my pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like you're starving for months on end waiting for the pizza. I'm just looking. I gotta find some of these comments.
What's for dinner? I ordered pizza. What's it going to be here? I'm about 3,000 on the list. Estimation is 11 months.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you're mad a business model is working, then just ignore it. Like the guy's basically
we can't do that in this country.
The guy's basically built hype around the fact that he's got this like gourmet pizza that he's selling, and people are waiting 6 months to eat it. Again, by waiting, it just means live your normal life and wait for a social media direct message.
Right.
Like, oh, by the way, Thursday you can order your pizza, and your life is normal otherwise. But people are so mad. There's this like vitriol, like this discussion just gets blown up where it's like, you guys can be, lemmings and whatever. I'm like, it's just a business model. If it's working, it's
whatever.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny that people are so open arms. I lost the thread, but I'll try to maybe share a few of the comments and not highlight certain people, but like random comment 1, random comment 2, because it's really good.
It is funny.
That's just like that. Let people like things.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, you can like order your normal pizza, whatever. If it's a weekly thing, every week. When that week comes up, you're just going to order from there instead of the normal Domino's or whatever crappy place that you order from otherwise.
Yeah, that's it.
You did, though, in the meantime, Dylan, though, you did find out how much they were per pie, right?
Yeah.
What was it, 25?
Yeah, about $25 a pie for a big kind of Detroit style pan,
8 squares,
deep dish, 8 square.
Yeah, kind of like a Sicilian style, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah,
Jets, if you're familiar with that.
Jets. Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like that, but I think that the crust is not necessarily like, they're not marketing themselves as Detroit style,
right? Not at all.
And so thick crust doesn't mean Detroit style, but it is a rectangle and it is thick.
Here we are, and when the time comes we do get to try it, we will make sure to document it for all you lovely folks.
That's right.
And share pictures, and because I think as of now, I'm actually kind of waiting. I'm hoping that he doesn't call us till the restaurant's open, because I think as of now, with the wait list is so big, he's only letting people order 2 pizzas at a time. So I'm kind of hoping, we'll be able to order maybe 4 or 5 between all of our families to try, and really they have a couple different pies.
among all of our families.
Yeah.
You got to refresh the wait list and remind them that we're still there.
I thought about messaging him recently and just saying like, hey, still happily waiting in line. Just wanted to let you know we're still here.
Yeah, because I'm sure he never gets that.
Oh, tons of it. Yeah. So anyways, I had to update you on that because I've been watching this banter unfold back and forth. Like, you realize you don't have to like not eat for 6 months. You can just eat normal food. And then, oh, by the way, today's the day I get to eat this kind of new pizza. So it's just really good. People are so weird. It's wonderful to watch unfold. So
speaking of people who love us.
Yes.
We had the craziest shout out ever last week.
Yes.
Dylan called me and said, "What are you doing right now? Did you get my text?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Stop everything, check your text, call me back."
Can you pull up our YouTube channel for anyone watching? Pull it back up, although they would already know that it's there.
Yeah.
We did. So long story short, our podcast, as you would have heard at our intro, we are a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Very exciting. Obviously networking is kind of key to just getting your name out there and having other great shows that you work alongside. is helpful. And long story short, somebody had a connection to Kevin Smith, the actor. You'd know him from something like Clerks. He had the AMC series, Comic Book Men. Been in a lot of different stuff. Everyone knows him. Like every geek site wants to know what Kevin Smith thinks about everything geeky that comes out. So they often cite what he has to say because he's such a big comic book fan. And so somebody in the network had a connection to Kevin Smith, just for anyone who wants the backstory. And it wasn't a paid cameo, wasn't a paid advertisement from him. There was a connection that was basically my understanding. Hey, we have a podcast network. We'd love it if you check out some of the shows in the network. And if you like it, if you'd be willing to share,
to put something
together for us. Yeah. And we just super appreciate it. We're a small group of indie podcasters and we'd really appreciate it. So this was not like a paid thing. He didn't have to do it, but for him to check out our shows and throw together a little promo for us was just fantastic and super exciting.
So here it goes. We're going to play.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. 2 things I know in this world: black and white convenience store movies and podcasting, man. So when I give you a podcast suggestion, people tend to listen. I'm about to drop some on you right now. Check out a great variety of podcasts on the Odd Pods Media Network, man. I'm talking shows Super Media Brothers, Married with Television, The 500 Section Lounge, From the Middle Podcast, Pod Askew, BFYTW, and Infectious Groove, all proud members of the Odd Pods Media Network. They make me so happy, spittle flies out of my mouth when I talk about them, man. I love anybody that creates a podcast network, and the good folks at Odd Pods have done exactly that. Go listen to all the podcasts on Odd Pods Media Network right now and tell them Silent Bob sent you. And when they say, wait, I thought he doesn't talk, and you're like, yeah, well, he talks 1 line per movie. And then go like, what? And the 1 line in a movie told you to go listen to Odd Pods Media Network? And then be like, look, it was just a sign-off catchphrase. Get off my and then you'll have made a new friend.
You will have made a new friend. He's got away with words, doesn't he?
So that's so crazy to me, man, that, whoops, the next video is playing. Sorry.
Whoa.
What was that?
I don't know.
So crazy to me, man, that we were at an old Bag of Nails pub, like, I don't know, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, talking to our dad about maybe starting a podcast. He comes up with the name, and then that same name comes out of Silent Bob's mouth.
Yeah.
So crazy, man. We are doing a thing.
We are doing a thing, and we're now, I mean, we're best friends with celebrities now.
It's true.
It's I mean, we can't overplay our hand now at this point. It's not possible.
Seriously.
And I just think it's important that any future advertisers just know the kind of company we keep. And so just bear in mind, Silent Bob is a huge fan of the show. I'm paraphrasing. Huge fan of the show. Massive fan of the show. And I just think it's important that people keep that in mind. So, you know.
I mean, we're racking up the list, man.
And those same advertisers should ignore this next bit. So I sometimes feel like we come into these things and we're not really sure what we want to talk about. And we kind of love the unscripted, sort of behind the scenes, authentic, like whatever's top of mind for us. And then there are other weeks where we come in with a lot of notes, not scripted per se, but just a lot of things we want to talk about. And it feels a little cold. And so we're still figuring out like what we're doing. But man, after something like that, you're like, oh, I gotta try a little harder.
I gotta start taking this thing serious.
I gotta take this thing seriously. Almost 80 episodes.
Would Kevin Smith enjoy this? What I'm about to say? Would he?
No, it re-energized me to like, really be thoughtful about like what we put out there and creating fun, enjoyable content that's still conversational in us. But yeah, it was really exciting. It was really cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't know how many times the first night I saw the video, because it was kind of uploaded to a shared file that the network shows could all take a look at. And I don't know how many times I watched it the first night. And then I'm just kind of waiting for like, when are we allowed to share this thing? Because like, I want to show people this.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. And so I texted it to just a few friends and obviously showed my wife and sent it to you guys. And it was just, I just couldn't help but like put it on repeat. And I didn't want to seem like the podcaster who's in love with his own voice. Right. But like, here I am watching this person talk about us a little bit. And I was just, it was just cool. I mean, I think I've talked about in previous episodes, I think it was episode 50. It was our 1 year anniversary, 50th episode. You appreciate a lot more the amount of work people put into behind the scenes things, even that feel very casual, like what we do on this show, still takes a lot of effort and time and thought. It's not scripted, and editing and all the things that collectively everyone does, and graphics and networking and just, you know, fighting for each and every listener, hoping that they're having a good time like we are. And so it does kind of re-energize you, because it's what we do is a lot of fun, but it's also not easy. It's not like we literally just show up with no thought and go, all right, well, we'll talk about whatever we talk about. And so it was validating, and it was cool to hear. So I don't know how many times I looped that video on my own phone, but go watch it a couple thousand times on YouTube for us, and we'll appreciate it.
You know, there's a saying, you shouldn't stop to read your own press clippings. But
Well, I mean,
every once in a while. And I'm sure he's listened to our library. I mean, he had to have gone back and done his research. He wouldn't just say something like that, right?
No.
So
This is like Sergeant Slaughter following us on Twitter. He's clearly a fan.
yeah.
This is not, he wouldn't just casually follow somebody to increase his own follower base. So I'm sure he's a big fan.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
I'll call you later, buddy.
Let's see here. Something redeeming. My wife and I, just last night we streamed a concert for the first time. Like paid $15 and streamed a thing. So that was cool. We did the Lamb of God, which is the Lamb of God tour is something. If you know who Andrew Peterson is, he's a singer-songwriter out of Nashville. He writes a lot of worship stuff, is what a lot of people know him for, but he does a lot of other things too. So he writes fiction books and writes non-worship songs and things. And he wrote this Lamb of God concert. And so he puts together like an amazing group of Nashville musicians, like it's kind of like a who's who in the people that are in this band, and and they go on tour every Christmas for like November, December, and when they play in Nashville, they play at the Ryman Auditorium. They sell it out for like 3 nights, and do this thing. And my wife and I have gone to it a couple times. She went to Vanderbilt. And so when she was living in Nashville, she went and saw it every year. And then she is who introduced me to it. And it's just absolutely amazing. And this year we were kind of bummed because we weren't going to be able to go, but they did a live stream from the Ryman Auditorium last night, and we logged in and watched it, and it was beautiful. And the I mean, it obviously it's not the same as being there for some of those like big musical crescendo moments that like really give you the feels when you're in person. But I mean, sitting at home with the lights off, kids are in bed, with with my new Klipsch speakers, and streaming this thing live was actually a really good experience, and I don't regret spending the $15 to do it. And I wouldn't mind doing that kind of thing again. So have you guys done anything like that during COVID? Like couldn't do something live, so like partook in the stream situation?
I did the Maria Bamford stand special thing that was a paid not VIP, but like a paid concert for her fans.
Did you do one of the movies like, hey, this just came out in theaters, or pay $20 or $25 to rent it? Didn't you do
Yeah,
that?
we did Mulan and Trolls early on in the lockdown.
I haven't done any of that yet, but that's a good idea. We might have to consider that.
But I like the live stuff, like the concerts and or stand-up stuff. I think that's a cool thing, and it supports those people who otherwise, I mean,
they need it. Yeah,
they need it. So
interesting. Well, let's take a really quick break right there. Hear from one of our friends. We'll come right back and talk more.
Here at the 500 Section Lounge, we have a few requirements. First, you need to be able to talk about anything at all. Secondly, you need to be able to laugh, play games, and hang out with some very interesting people. From sports radio personalities to reality television contest finalists and everything in between, we talk to them all right here in the lounge. Be on the lookout for what we do next and sit back, relax, and be there to grab a listen.
So, I mean, it's all cleared up now.
It's good.
There's nothing left but a scar at this point, but I saved it in the fridge just in case I need to take it to somebody to have them look at it. So we'll see. I don't know what that has to do with stickers.
well, you might cover up the scar.
Yeah.
Hey guys, our
It's
stickers
not
are
big enough.
our stickers are 50% off for the rest of 2020. We will post instructions on how to do that. It's very simple. Just PayPal us some monies and we'll send you some stickers. And 50% off for the rest of 2020. High quality vinyl die cut from the middle stickers. And we have just a handful left. So get yours now. And shipping is included in that price. So don't worry about shipping. And we would love to see you rock that sticker and share and tag where you stuck it.
Yes. Did you say the continental United States?
Continental United States.
Anywhere in the continental United States.
Sorry, Northern Ireland.
Sorry, Northern Ireland. And only because somebody pulled me aside the other day. It didn't happen. So just imagine that somebody did somewhere. And so somebody pulled me aside the other day and said, man, 2020 is really stunk. And I said, what can I do to help? And they said, man, if your merch stickers were 50% off through the end of the year, that would do it.
That would help.
That would raise my spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to order a bunch. And I said, great. Then I think we could do that for everyone else as well. If that's going to mean that much to that many people, it's the least we could do.
Yep. And like Corey said, the shipping is included. And the continental US, that's why they call it the continental US, because it's included. Right.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Awesome. So get your stickers, check all of our social channels at From the Mid Pod everywhere, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, everywhere important. There's probably unimportant social sites we're not on, but at least the important ones. We're all on those. Or I don't know the PayPal details. It'll be there. Or you can email us if you want interest or if you want a sticker and you don't know how to do that. From the middle.
If you want interest for buy stickers, give us your credit card numbers.
It's late. What time are we recording?
And your date of your birth.
We got to find.
And we will ship for you stickers of your fine order.
Yes, from the middle at protonmail.com. Proton Mail is just like it sounds. Boom, sticker done.
Done. That was seamless.
I think we have a voicemail, and so maybe this is a good time to take our voicemail, as Kendall teased that up, because we had this voicemail ties into a very exciting episode of The Mandalorian, which means 2 weeks in a row we've had incredible episodes, and we're gonna throw Mandalorian out the window. If you don't know what that is, that's us talking about The Mandalorian in 4 minutes or less. This is going to be more like the Mandafordian. So just buckle up. It's going to be bumpy.
All three of us are excited.
Kendall loves when we talk Star Wars.
Hey, guys, this is Brad from Philly. I just got done watching Chapter 14 in The Mandalorian Season 2. And I'll try to be spoiler-free, but all these years, I just had faith that this one character was still alive, and I knew it. I read a book about how this particular character got out of their situation, and I just had faith that this character was just out there somewhere. And I guess my question to you guys is, did you have faith in this too? Did you guys like expect this character to still be alive all this time? You know, kicking around just kind of in the shadows. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I had a feeling, and I was kind of hoping that it would come back, and this character came back, and I was super excited. So I just want to know what you guys' opinion was of that.
I don't know who this character is because I haven't seen it yet.
Have
but
you
I
seen
will
any of the
answer.
season?
What's that?
Have you seen any of the season?
No, not yet. I keep forgetting.
Life keeps getting in the way.
But I mean, 3 kids now, almost all 3 of them riding bikes. So. No, one thing that I've learned about Star Wars is love Star Wars. Again, I'm being funny, if you can call it that. Comedy culture podcast, emphasis on the podcast. One thing I know about Star Wars is that nobody dies. We've talked about this. People don't die in Star Wars universe. It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
If their
and they don't even have to explain why not. They can just show up, and then the fans will explain it for you. Like they don't have to canonize any facts. They'll just wait until the fans start doing their apologetics for them, and then they're like, "All right, we'll go with the best one."
Yeah, I got a couple million clone numbers I'd like to rattle off as far as no one dying.
If they fall from something,
nobody falls and dies. Nobody dies from falling. That's right.
Right.
That's
people
right.
get their heads lopped off. People get burned.
Right.
But if they fall from a height, chances are they're coming back.
Terminal velocity is a relatively new invention. A long time ago, it wasn't. We hadn't invented it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
Brad,
Well, that was very sweet of Brad. Sorry, Dylan. That was very sweet of Brad to give us a spoiler-free version. We're going to go ahead and just spoil the spoils out of it.
yes.
Boba Fett is back. Boba Fett is back. Boba Fett. Boba Fett is back. My favorite character in the Star Wars universe, Boba Fett. Boba Fett is back.
Yeah. He's the fat, slimy dude, right?
No, Kendall, no. Oh, you guys, my heart literally skipped a beat when the slave one casually and ever so subtly arced into the shot.
All right, so back up for a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The slave one is Boba Fett's ship that we've not seen in a long time. But let's back up just a little bit.
Okay, sorry.
There's probably going to be some people that kind of know Star Wars that are listening, and then some that don't know it at all. Why is this a big deal? But you've got to keep it relatively short. Why is Boba Fett a big deal from the original films until now?
If you need to get some Band-Aids for your nipples, it's
Is
this episode explicit now?
Because I said nipples 3 times now.
Okay.
And we've said titillated a couple times.
All right.
Anyway,
Boba Fett first appeared in the Empire. Well, we talked about a couple weeks ago. He first appeared in the Star Wars Christmas special. Blah blah blah. In the movies, though, he first appeared in Empire Strikes Back, and in the timeline of that character's life, who he was never supposed to be that big of a character. He just became like a cult favorite character. Jeremy Bullock's the actor who portrayed him in the films did a stellar job with the walk and the swagger and the mystery behind this tough scoundrel bounty hunter, and nothing else happened in that character's arc post the 80s, the 1980s. There was expanded universe stuff written. There were comics and books. That is all now gone. So nothing has happened in that character's arc since he fell into the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi.
And really to show the cultural impact. The only reason that the Mandalorian as a show exists is because Boba Fett made the race of people, or the type of person, the build, the armor, the whole thing looks so cool that if he hadn't, the whole show wouldn't even exist.
Right.
Like he was such a cool looking. It's like a bit part character, a guy in a leather jacket leaning up against a sports car, and people just going, "I want to be that. I want to." That just looks cool. And that was Boba Fett, because he had how few lines in the original movies, and then before his character was quote killed off. Like, it wasn't like he was a primary character. He was just a really cool looking bad guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, he's friggin' cool. And that's the reason the Mandalorian, the show, exists, because the Mandalorian is, you paint his armor and he's now Boba Fett, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, actual timeline wise, nothing has happened since Return of the Jedi in 1983. Nothing has happened in that character story. It was a mystery, and that goes back to Brad's voicemail, that he had held out hope and had faith that this character somehow survived that fall into an alien Venus flytrap, tentacly sand badness.
Worm mouth pit.
So
I don't know how to describe
Worm mouth
it.
pit. I like worm mouth pit. Yeah.
Worm mouth pit.
To Dylan's point, because Star Wars geeks have been hoping that this is somehow going to tie to that beloved character, that is probably a big part of the reason that this show is now popular. There's been hints at it. There's been a couple Easter eggs that have hinted towards it. When we saw Tamura Morrison turn around at the end of a couple episodes ago, we thought, oh my gosh, could this be? And then this past week, confirmed, it is Boba Fett, sans helmet. He's back, and he is cooler than ever, doing some things we've never seen before. That's the thing. Boba Fett aside, Mandalorian is showing us Star Wars stuff that we've never seen before, time and time and time again. Speeder bikes going over cliffs, certain ships folding and flying in ways that we've never seen them done before, Jedi doing things that we've never seen before. And this past week, Boba Fett shattering stormtrooper armor with single blows. We've never seen that. We've seen it get dented and smashed a little bit, but we've never seen it shatter. He's shattering stormtrooper armor. You guys, Boba Fett is back. Have I said Boba Fett is back? Boba Fett is back. He's alive.
Didn't like in the sequel trilogy, didn't people like get all pissed off over writers like making up new abilities and stuff?
Yeah, people gonna be mad. People were mad that
but are those same people like all about it in the Mandalorian?
No, they're still mad about certain things. Like, of course, no one hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. So people are upset that Ahsoka Tano's head tails are shorter.
Yeah, I think did we talk about that? No. That was a different conversation.
They're ticked off that they're shorter than they were in the cartoons, because the length of the head tails is supposed to represent how long they've been alive. And so they're longer, and people are mad. They were upset about, some people were upset about Boba's dad bod, because, Tamura Morrison isn't scrawny. What else have you seen, Dylan, on the interwebs?
Just to kind of circle back to Kendall's question again, we need to figure out the recording time on these. Anyways, I think part of it is the stakes of a 40, 50 year long story being told are much greater than, if people don't like The Mandalorian, they could ignore it. Yeah. They can't ignore the fact that the sequel films 7, 8, and 9 were the ending to the story that started 40 years ago. You can't ignore that. That is what it is. That is how it ends. Right. And I think you said that in our review of the Rise of Skywalker episode. Like, you don't have to like it, but that is how it ended.
Yeah.
And you can kind of ignore The Mandalorian. No one would want to now because it's such a good show. But you can kind of ignore it and dismiss it as, oh, it's just a TV thing. It's not the main story.
Right.
And there's a lot more invested into characters that you've been waiting 40 years to see the story unfold for, versus if a new character that you've only watched in 10 episodes dies, it's not as important or as big of a deal or whatever. So yes, people tend to be hypocritical, but there is some sort of weight differences to the movies versus the show. And then also who is associated with the project matters. So Jon Favreau has essentially spearheaded the Mandalorian TV show alongside Dave Filoni, who took control of all the Star Wars animated canon content. And people really like Jon Favreau because Elf and Iron Man and Swingers and now Star Wars. And people really like Dave Filoni because he's done a really good job with the animated shows. So it helps that you've got two very likable people spearheading the Mandalorian that also they know their stuff. So they're bringing in these like crazy references to things from Star Wars that might have never even, it was a toy that was made that never existed in anything but a cheap junk toy for kids in the 70s that they actually put into the show. You know? So it's just a lot of things have helped the Mandalorian be as cool and as popular as it is, and in no small part Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau get a ton of credit.
You're saying a lot of things that don't sound like Boba Fett, so I want you to
I'm sorry. Okay, so now I'll react to you because you need to hear me talk about Boba Fett. As I'm watching this show, my wife is watching it with me, and she's only seen the sequel films. She's not seen anything else. So she doesn't really care. I mean, she likes the cute characters and the droids and stuff like that. So I have to kind of explain things as they go. And
I mean, does she ask you to explain things, or you feel like you have to?
Well,
or you just you like to explain things as you go?
She doesn't ask, but she's only mildly irritated that I pause to explain things. So I feel like
that's cool. I felt like from here I needed to kind of call that out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she doesn't love it, but I think she's probably annoyed until I explain it. And I try not to do it very often, so it's actually meaningful. I think once she hears it, she probably does actually kind of appreciate it. But I don't expect her to admit it. It's fine. Anyways, when Boba Fett's ship flew in to the episode, which happens like almost right away, I literally just had to pause it and rewind it. And Corey, I was thinking of you because I knew you above all people would just be friggin' stoked to see that unfolding before us in the show. But I literally just had to pause it and rewind it and explain. And now my wife doesn't know who Boba Fett is from the movies, but she knows who Boba Fett is because Corey has like tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise on the shelf behind him from Boba Fett. So like she knows it's a big deal and he's a cool character. And so as I'm saying, that's Boba Fett's ship. It's sort of connecting with her that this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And I just rewinded it like a kid, and I'm just watching it unfold. So excited.
Dude, and then when Mando is going to investigate and you hear the sound of the gunfire that is unmistakably Boba Fett's, the gunfire. Oh, just, he uses his little knee rockets.
Yeah. The giddiness is off the charts. By the way, we had never seen, or they had never alluded to the knee rockets, I don't think in anything but like a book. That like they did like this official like tear down of Boba Fett's armor, like in some kind of like, here's the characters of the Star Wars universe book. And they showed he has tiny little rockets on his knee pads. And they actually bring those to life in the show, which felt so bizarre, but so Star Wars at the same time. Like they just get away with it because
cosplayers and people who draw him have been implementing those into their creations for years. We've just never seen them in action. So like, if you're as geeked out about Boba Fett as many are, I mean, there's a joke, right? That's like, who's your favorite Star Wars character and why is it Boba Fett? Like,
yeah. So now you have to tell the story though. So originally an English actor in the original films played Boba Fett under the armor. Long story short, by the time we get to see Boba Fett, the Star Wars films of the late 90s and early 2000s show us that it's actually Boba Fett. In theory would have been an actor, Tamira Morrison, or I don't know how to say his name if that's right. It basically would have been Tamira Morrison playing Boba Fett because of how the in-universe things play out. And we met Tamira Morrison, and I feel like you need to share that story.
Yeah, so it was Star Wars Celebration 3. The celebration is the name of the big conferences that accompany film releases for the Star Wars franchise. And they have continued in years when there isn't a film released. And Dylan and I have only ever been to one geek convention. We don't go to Comic-Con or anything like that, but we decided to go to Celebration 3 because it was in Indianapolis, Indiana, not too far away. This is 2003.
That's when the movie came out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right around there. Yeah.
So, and as per usual for those conventions, they have one entire expo floor that is the actors from the films that happen to be attending that conference. It's not usually the big actors, so it's not your Harrison Fords and your Carrie Fishers and your Mark Hamills, but like pretty much everybody else. Now, sometimes those A-list for the movie, sometimes those folks do show up to give keynote speeches or presentations or panels or things, but they don't typically sit in the autograph photo area. And those people, I feel very bad for them, but those people sit at a table with shots of themselves from the film behind them, and they graciously meet fans and sign autographs for hours. And so we stood in line to meet Tamira Morrison, and you have all your little things that you want him to sign. And you get to shake his hand, and he was very nice. And it was so funny because he was with Daniel Logan, the actor that plays young Boba Fett, because Tamira Morrison was playing Jango at the time and the clones. And so Daniel Logan was the little kid version who picks up Jango's helmet after Obi-Wan cuts his head off. So people do in fact die. And sort of takes up the mantle, literally. And
yeah, nobody gets cut in half and lives.
Wasn't it Mace Windu that cut his head off?
Yeah,
nobody gets cut in half and lives.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that.
I said Obi-Wan. But he picks up the mantle, young Boba, and becomes a bounty hunter after his father was beheaded. So we met Tamira Morrison. He was super nice. He signed a Jango Fett figure that I have and a handful of different posters that I had. And man, I'm sounding super geeky. And then it was funny because the actor that plays Seamus Finnegan in the Harry Potter films was hanging out with Daniel Logan too, Devin Murray. So like he was there. We met a bunch of other people. We met David Prowse, who was the actor who portrayed Vader in the original trilogy, who recently passed away.
Peter Mayhew,
Kenny Baker. I mean,
Jack Jensen.
Yeah. A lot of cool folks. So anyway, it was really cool to get to meet him. So now I can say I've met both actors who have portrayed an adult Boba Fett, because I got to see Jeremy Bullock at a hotel in Kansas City, and I got to meet Tamira Morrison in Indianapolis at the convention. So yeah, super cool. Boba Fett's back. Have you guys heard? So Boba Fett's back. It's really exciting.
Do you guys find it kind of lame that that they keep making all of these references and things to like fans of the franchise that they're a part of, and they keep making all of these creative decisions that they think that other people will enjoy, just so that they'll watch it and like it and tell their friends, so that like they themselves can come up with something successful and just make money like a bunch of capitalist pigs.
You talking about fan service? Because
you guys think that's lame? Didn't you guys think that's lame? I mean, they might as well. They might as well like start selling pizzas out of their own kitchen and come up with some kind of stupid marketing scheme to get people to want to buy it and then sell it to them for money.
Corey, he's your friend. Talk to him.
Knee rockets.
Huh?
Knee rockets.
Knee rockets.
Knee rockets. Boba Fett's back.
I'm happy for you. I really am. And I too am excited for the Boba Fett to come back. I don't mind spoilers. I will watch it and I will enjoy it. And I will enjoy that scenery of the ship flying in and all that good stuff. And yeah, I have seen several pieces of Boba Fett fan art come from Corey enough to be excited for him, even without this conversation. But this conversation, quite frankly, has been adorable.
He's just so cool. He just looks so cool, and he's like so cool. Seriously though, so one of our friends did share an interesting article, which we will also post to our Facebook page and from the middle for the Middlers page, that brings up some interesting questions about the Fetts, Jango and Boba. George Lucas himself said that they were not Mandalorians. They were not of the race, or is it really just a clan of people who take an oath? That's still kind of up in the air. But this sort of says that they know that they were in fact Mandalorians and not just bounty hunter scum. But it also brings up a really interesting question about relative good in the Star Wars universe. So somebody brought up a really interesting point, which I would love to get you guys' take on, that if Mando were any older, he probably would have been hired by Darth Vader himself. Because Mando keeps showing up with this adorable Grogu, this adorable youngling Jedi, we are rooting for him. But he's really still a hired gun. And that's no different than what Boba was. So if Mando were any older, it's possible that he would be doing missions for Vader and maybe even the Rebel Alliance as well. But because these characters are for hire, and there are these clearly morally good Jedi always surrounding those characters, by comparison, they seem bad. But we are rooting for Mandalorian, all excited for him and his adventures, and he's still selling out to the highest bidder, in a way. So
interesting.
Or he's a moral neutral in a world of, and before Boba Fett was outgooded by the Jedi around him with shiny laser swords that distracted us. It's an interesting article. I'll share it. But I
like that idea. Yeah, that's a good thought process right there.
Yeah,
I think the moment that, so to jump back in the show a little bit, obviously, essentially, the Empire hired Mando to capture the child and turn him in, which he did. He was paid in Beskar, which is essentially Mandalorian armor or metal that he can use for his armor. The moment that he decided that he was going to go back to the people who just paid him for the job he just completed, he took them all out, took the child back, and kept the money. At that point, he became more good than neutral in my mind, because he knew not only did you could argue, well, he should have given the money back. The Beskar never belonged to the Empire anyways. It belonged to the Mandalorians. So he not only kept the Beskar, which belonged to the Mandalorians, he also took the child back, which he delivered and then took anyway. So at that point, he becomes more good than not. Now, you could argue, had he been older and not had that job, would he have turned out the same? Because even he didn't want to essentially have the guilt of the child being killed on him. Because he knew, despite the age being 50 of the child, it was still essentially an infant. And so I think at that point, it really becomes okay to root for Mando, because, he cared enough to go back and save the kid, when really, as a bounty hunter, he should have just taken the money and left. And
but for that particular bounty hunter, there was some character development that we get to take a look at and watch the moment where his heart grows 3 sizes.
That's right.
And that sliding scale works the other way for characters that we already love, right? Like Han shooting first is kind of a big deal, and that's why it's so hotly debated, right? Because it's It's less
McClunky.
moral of him to shoot Greedo first. What'd you say?
McClunky.
So anyway, dude, such a good episode. Love of Boba Fett aside, this show keeps delivering, man. And if it's so much good Star Wars stuff for people who like Star Wars and people who want to hate, go sit on a tack.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yes.
Sit on a tack.
I'm sure we'll
Ouch.
have more of a recap of the first 2 seasons at the end of season 2. Although this has felt like a really nice sort of, we jumped in midway through season 2 and gave up because we really never talked about Ahsoka much.
Yeah.
But here we are, and there's still a lot more we could discuss, much to the chagrin of all the listeners.
So Brad, thank you for the voicemail. Some of us did hold out faith. Apparently it takes a Sarlacc pit 1,000 years to digest its food. So I'm guessing that with all the gadgets, our hero, because he's a hero in our eyes, had on him, that he was able to finagle his way out of that Venus flytrap, that dry desert Venus flytrap's mouth, and
Worm mouth. Worm ground mouth.
live to fight another day.
It.
That's it.
Speaking of sand and entertainment, we have talked before about, and this is another Star Wars character, another Star Wars actor, Ewan McGregor. I watched the Apple TV Plus travel documentary Long Way Up, and it is so good. Ewan McGregor and his friend Charlie Borman. This is our recommend segment, by the way. They travel from the tip of South America, the bottommost tip of the southern tip of South America, all the way up through South America, through Central America, and into LA on electric Harleys, the Livewire Harley Davidson, which at the time were just prototypes. You can buy one now. But at the time, Harley did a special deal for Ewan and Charlie. And this is the 3rd series. They did Long Way Round, Long Way Down, and this is Long Way Up, exclusive to Apple TV Plus. I could not recommend it more. And then my second show, because I'm a big fan of the Grief Burrito podcast, they had a guest, Kennedy Phillips, who works with a lot of TV and animated series. He recommended an Andy Tartakovsky cartoon. Andy Tartakovsky, of course, did the Clone Wars cartoons in the early 2000s, as well as Samurai Jack and Dexter's Lab. It's a show called Primal, and there is no dialogue in the show. It is a sound designer's dream, which is why Kennedy Phillips, a sound designer who was a guest on Grief Burrito, loves it so much. But basically, it is the story of, and I have the description pulled up here. At the dawn of evolution, a caveman and a dinosaur on the brink of extinction bond over unfortunate tragedies and become each other's only hope of survival in a treacherous world. In the style of Samurai Jack, no dialogue, caveman and a dinosaur become friends. It's super good if you're not into Star Wars and want something else to watch.
And where would we stream it?
It was on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. I was able to find it on YouTube if you want to find some jankety-jank copies. But I think the episodes are $1 or something a piece if you wanted to buy it properly. So Primal is a recommendation, as well as Long Way Up.
I very early in our episodes, I plugged Long Way Around and Long Way Down. And I'm so excited to watch Long Way Up eventually, because those two guys are so lovable as you're watching that show unfold. And it's just this great blend of like the whole experience around the motorcycle, which is its own challenge in and of itself. And then the landscape and the culture and the food and the emotional like peaks and valleys that they're experiencing is like they're stuck out and they're getting like rained and drenched and they're just tired, and then they'll get somewhere and see a whole new landscape and just be totally like energized. And it's just watching them go through that. I don't know how many times I've watched Long Way Around and Long Way Down, but they are so good. So I'm definitely excited to watch.
I think we don't realize that 13,000 miles. That's how long that trip is. Like that's legit on a motorcycle through what starts in freezing weather. They go through desert and end up in LA. It's a phenomenal show. And you're right, Dylan. They're just so darn affable, and you just want to hang out with them. They're just sweet guys, and it's like travel documentary and culture and food, and if you like motorcycles, that piece of it too, obviously. So that felt like a great show to watch when you're sort of sequestered to your house.
Sweet.
You guys watching anything, reading anything, teaching kids to ride anything?
Yeah, I've recently considered that making memories with your family is a good way to spend time. You know, I don't get to watch my Star Wars, and that really hits me deep. But yeah, no, making memories with my children, I suppose, is a good.
Dad, where were you when Boba Fett came back? I was teaching you to ride a bike and wrapping your Christmas presents.
And I also do have to throw a thing in there that my wife has been with me with all of those things. She has been out with the kids a couple times without me teaching them how to ride bikes, and so I think that I made it sound like, it was just dad with their kids, and so like it's been brought to my attention,
your face
that no, I'm kidding. She didn't ask me to do this. I misrepresent and lie on a regular basis on this podcast, just so that you guys all know. My wife is a wonderful, beautiful woman. She did not make me go on here. And
so anyways, if you want to know one thing I've watched, really sweet, laid back. I'm trying to help you out, Kendall. Trying to get you out of there.
Start talking.
If you need something really sweet and laid back with some music, Fisherman's Friends on Netflix. It's not a 10 out of 10 Academy Award nominee. It's just a very sweet, nice movie. So
good.
That apparently is playing in the background. Check it out.
Right.
Rescued you from that Sarlacc pit of words.
I do that too often. I love you, Amy.
Love you, Amy.
You're the most brilliant person I know. I'm not just saying that.
This has been a great episode. Bye, guys. Should we do like a real wrap up?
No, I think
that's good. That's fine.
Okay, leave it.
Good. It was a long episode. It was a long episode. People are going to probably bail by that point anyway.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it'll be my way to find out if my wife is actually listening to the whole thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Boba Fett is back.